Hello, hello, hello. We are here this afternoon, and by we, I mean myself, as usual, and Tommy Redding's joining us for this question and answers off-season episode 2. Tommy, say hello.
How you guys doing?
So there we have it. Just gonna run through some questions I have for him, and then I got questions from you guys. So I don't think we'll be too long. Just brief, some soccer, some non-soccer, and everything's good. So Tommy, you came up through the team, and you were on USL, and then you made the transition into MLS. So how what kind of experience is that? I guess in your career and personally, off the field, like was there a big difference off the field between USL and MLS?
Yeah, I think it's always a big step forward going from one division to a higher division. So going from second to first division was a lot different. I mean, the first year was a lot. It wasn't as, I mean, it's still competitive, but I mean, especially this year, our inaugural season, the competition was out the roof. I mean, it was a really good year. And I think for me, especially as such a young player, getting that experience in so early in life is going to help me with my career going forward. So there was a big difference between USL and MLS just because of the stakes. I mean, in USL, Orlando City was known as being the top team and everything. So, but in MLS, we're the new dogs on the corner, and I think it was a good experience, and I think our first season went really well.
And just touch a little bit on USL. What was the highlight of your time in the USL with the team?
Definitely a highlight for me is just, especially in my first season and such a young age, I was able to become friends with a lot of these guys that have been professionals for years, and they taught me so many things on and off the field. So my highlight was definitely them being teachers of the game to me, and I really thank them for that.
And what's the like the best tip or the best piece of advice that you got that you carry with you every day?
The best piece of advice, honestly, is more off the field stuff. It's just knowing the person I am. Confidence is kind of a stretch for me. I've always been really quiet and just reserved, but they especially told me the first year that to be who I want to be on and off the field, I have to be confident. So every day I remind myself of that.
And so I had Dennis Chin on, back whatever a couple of months ago doing a match review, and I talked to him a little bit about the USL, and he told me that, and I asked Raul and I asked Jamie, so I've asked everybody this question: Have you ever played two touch with Luke Bowden?
Yes, I have. I have.
and, and you're laughing. How did that go for you?
Not very well. I mean,
Okay.
he's just the master of two touch, and even even when he loses, sometimes he'll find a way to win. Win. So yeah, it's always fun. It's always fun watching him playing two touch with the guys because it's competitive, but it's still something just fun off to the side.
So you beat Luke Bowden, and then he made an excuse.
I have not beaten Luke Bowden, but I've seen in person people have and excuses were made. So
Okay. All right, cool. Is there who's your best friend on the team, or who's your best friend player wise? Maybe someone that you've played with that's not on the team.
yeah, so I have on the team. It's mostly just I'm really good friends with all the guys. Uh, a couple of guys I was pretty good friends with was Tony Cassio. But unfortunately, he's not with us anymore. He's a really cool guy. I was really close with him. Corey Ash. Let's see. Obviously Tyler and Harrison because they're my age, and our new signing Mason, the goalkeeper. I'm really close with him because we're in the same national team. So we've been on trips together and we've been roommates. So him and I are really close.
And did you and you played at academy with him too, right?
Yes, for a little bit.
Okay, and so this is just kind of where the conversation is going. It lends to one of the questions. So this question is from Chuck and on Facebook, and Chuck wants to know how has being around the organization at a younger age affected your play and you personally versus going the route of like playing in college.
Yeah, I think for me, the competition level is obviously just extremely higher, and that's what I wanted to be a professional soccer player playing at the highest level. I think at such a young age, it's important to keep it competitive. I feel like some players are good enough to go professional out of high school, but end up going the college route, and they're not pushed or challenged as much as they need to be to go and follow their dreams. So I think for me, the professional route has been great for me in pursuing my dream of one day going to Europe and playing in the highest level soccer.
And as far as Europe goes, do you have a team that you follow?
I do not have a team that I follow because I'm very competitive off the field as well, especially stuff like that. So I would get really upset if they do poorly and all that stuff. So I just focus on watching leagues.
Okay. And what about other sports other than soccer? Is there a sport that you tend to watch more than another one?
Definitely NFL, just because it's the biggest sport in the United States. And growing up here, you just learn to love football. I mean, it's just embedded in everyone's brain. And unfortunately for me, I'm a San Diego Chargers fan. So the
Okay.
year's been rough. The year's been very rough. But I mean, they're my team and they're who I support. So
And then you're originally from California, and then you moved to Oviedo. Is that right?
yes, I did.
Okay. And so that's why you're a Chargers fan.
Exactly. I was born and bred a San Diego Chargers fan, and it's been yeah, Chargers fan is always difficult. They're never very good, and they always break your heart. But I mean, I love them. So
And Keenan Allen injury hurt you guys this year. And what about what's your favorite kind of food?
food. To be honest, I love Japanese and Chinese food. Those two are probably my favorites, and they're at a tie. I can't really pick one over the other.
Okay. And do you like hibachi style, or do you prefer sushi in Japanese?
I like both. I mean, I could eat a full plate of hibachi and then have a full plate of sushi right after. So I just think it's delicious.
All right. I mean, I don't know very many people that would disagree, to be honest. So, um, there's actually I live by downtown. There's a little place over here called Sushi Lola. If you ever get over here, it's
Okay.
Japanese. The ladies like Korean. It's crazy. It's so good. But if you're ever over here, give it a shout. Sushi Lola. Anybody
Awesome.
else in Orlando? Yeah, that's like mine and my fiance spot. We go there all the time. The lady like knows us. I love that place, man. I love it.
That's awesome.
Anyways, so I got. Let's see here. We'll just go into Facebook questions because I have it right up.
Okay.
Or let me see. If I have anything else, I'll just chime back in. But Steve Raymond had two questions, and his first question is he wanted to know if playing with yourself in career mode on FIFA is different than playing with someone else because he said he would never have that experience, so he wanted to know your take.
To be honest, I can't really answer that question because I don't play FIFA very much.
Okay.
I used to, and then I don't know. As soon as the MLS came around and I saw myself in the game, I never really wanted to use myself because I'd just get angry at how low my stats were. So I just decided not to play, and I've fallen off from FIFA. So
Okay. And then his other question was, do you think the coming season will bring more opportunities with OCB coming than what you had this year? And he wanted to know he wanted to know your thoughts about OCB's focal point in developing younger players to be able to fill in as for if injuries or suspensions arise at the first team.
yeah, I think this year especially is going to be a lot different than last year for me and a lot of the other young guys because we're going to have a place to play, and it's not going to just be us training every day and then going to watch the games on the weekends. We're going to have train every day, and we're going to be able to play on the weekends and develop our game like in actual games. So I think that's going to be very helpful. And the OCB challenge of what's it called, developing young players is that's how it should be, I think, because when you look at Europe, they take their young players and they feed them straight into like through their academies, straight into the reserves and into the first team. So I mean, that's something that here in the United States we don't have too much of, but I think it's very important for the growth of soccer in the United States for a lot of the young guys to be able to join MLS teams at a young age and not just sit the bench and practice all the time, but have a place to play, develop. So eventually, in a year or two, or maybe more or less, they get put straight into the first team.
And just are you gonna practice with OCB too, or are you gonna practice first team and play with OCB, or you don't know?
I'm not sure yet, but I think the
Okay.
plan is practice with the first team and then OCB. So
For the
we'll
for
see.
game day.
We'll
Okay.
see.
And what you playing USL and then playing a season, in MLS and then going back to USL. Well, what are your thoughts about that? Or do you think you might be back and forth between USL and MLS as needed?
The goal is hopefully for me, I just want to get games, whatever league, USL or MLS. I mean, that was the big point for me. That's why I wanted to join while the team was still in USL the first year, so I can get games and understand what it's like to be a professional. I think it's a lot tougher for guys coming to the MLS that go straight to the MLS and joining other MLS teams that they join and they don't get to play their first professional game for a year, maybe a year and a half, because they're just at such a young age and the level's so high. So for me, it doesn't really matter what league I'm in. I just want to get minutes and develop my game.
All right. And so the last Ruckus president, Jerry, he had a couple questions for you, and one of them is what is it like? You're just a young adult still, so what is it like to just be thrusted into the world of professional sports?
It's difficult. You have to go through a long process of changing, and pretty quickly. You kind of have to develop and grow out of your stage of still being a child, I would say, to be honest, and learn to become more confident and more, definitely more disciplined. And especially when it comes to yourself, you got to be more critical. You can't just say, that's all right, maybe next time. You got to be like, look, this was bad. That's how I have to change it, and that's how you go about it. So this is a difficult process, but once you get it down, I mean, it's just an everyday thing.
Gotcha. And then the second part of his question relates back to what you were just saying about professionalism. He said, was there anything that was unexpected or that you're still working on to improve in terms of professionalism?
For me, it's just the confidence piece. Because I feel like I look at myself every day, and it's just like I'm so young, and I'm in an environment where these guys have been playing for years, and you have like Breck Shea and Kaká with you, so it's different. But I think throughout the year, my confidence has grown tremendously, and the only way is up for now. So that's the good part.
And have you always been number 29, and is 29 your lucky number?
Yeah, that's a great question. That's one of my favorite questions, to be honest, because when I was younger, I used to be number 8. So when I was really young, I was number 8 until about 8 or 9. When I turned 8 or 9, I decided I wanted to change numbers, and I was like, I really like the number 29 because my uncle wore it, and I respected my uncle a lot. So ever since then, number 29. And then people always ask, like, oh, it's such a weird number. They just give it to you, and I'm like, no, that's the number I want. So, yep.
29 through and through. All right.
Yeah.
Next question from Facebook, Ryan Kirchy. Sorry if I mispronounced that, Ryan. He wants to know, are there any weird superstitions you have or have noticed other players doing before the matches?
Nothing that I've actually seen people do. But for me, I just love to get in the zone, especially before the game. I just put my headphones on. I don't really say a word. I just think about what I have to do throughout the day. And even when we're going out of the locker room and everyone's like jumping around, like giving each other high fives and getting really pumped, I'm kind of just focused and quiet about what I have to do. And then once I get on the field, my body takes over and I don't even have to think about what's going on anymore.
And so you just said you liked listening to music before the game. So what do you tend to listen to?
It honestly just depends. I listen to everything. I really love music. I've always had a passion for music since I was really young. So any genre, any artist, I just enjoy almost everything. So.
Okay. And does it like depend on like for prior to the game, do you find yourself like, one day it'll be a country song, the next day it'll be like techno, or is it like is there something you lend like towards that like helps you get in the zone better?
Yeah, it's just like your first example. One day it could be something like rock and roll, and then the next day it could be like a slow jazz or something crazy. Maybe not that crazy, but where it differentiates just depending on what I like, what I recently found. So it's basically new music that I just heard. That's what I like the most.
Okay. And if you could go to any concert tomorrow night, what would you go to? Like
To be
someone you.
to be honest, I would go to an EDM festival.
Okay.
Those look very fun, and I would really enjoy that.
Have you ever been to Orlando? The one
I
about.
was going to go this year, but my plans fell apart, so I was not able to make it.
Yeah, I really wanted to go on Friday too. They had like a bunch of my favorite DJs.
Yeah.
But I had to take an ethics test for the bar exam. So priorities, Okay. This is probably the least professional question I'm going to ask you, and
Okay.
it is also from Ryan Churchy, and his question is: ass or titties? You don't have
Uh,
to answer if you don't want to.
that's it. I don't really have a say. I mean,
Okay,
it's just out there. I mean,
fair enough. That's that.
yeah. I mean, there's not a real definite answer to that one.
All right. Hey Ryan, I know you might not care. I'm an ass man. All right, so I got two from Instagram, and Pablo Torres is the first one, and he wants to know how much do you think you will be playing next season at OCB if that's where you are? So I guess would you be a starter at OCB? Do you think you'll be a reserve at OCB?
Yeah, it just depends on how things go. I think the plan is for the guys that aren't going to be playing with the first team to be playing almost every minute with OCB. So I think that's the plan for next season, but I'm not entirely sure.
Okay. Mr. Wolf Park, also from Instagram, wants to know what do you think your strengths as a player are, and where do you think you need to improve your game to grow into becoming a better player? And before you answer, he also wanted me to tell you that he sees you as a young Rafael Varane from Madrid, and that thinks that that you're young and you'll eventually be a super talent.
Well, thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. And for me, honestly, my strengths are me on the ball, being able to dribble out of the back and kind of start the attack from the defense. I think that's one thing that center backs nowadays need to have because the game is progressing and it's not as physical as it used to be. It's more of being able your whole team to be able to play, just not just your midfield and forwards, but your goalkeeper has to be good on the ball, everyone in your back line, and then everyone going forward. So I think my strength is taking the ball out of the back, and I think the one thing I really need to improve on is just communicating because like I said, I've always been really quiet, and that has translated onto the field, and that also is comes with my confidence as well. So the more confidence I've gotten, and the more comfortable I've gotten around all the guys on the team, my communication has gone up. So that's one thing I really need to keep working on.
And this question is from Twitter, and on Twitter it is the real Seamus C, and he wants to know who you admire the most in the sport.
In the sport, there's not really anyone I admire because I don't know. When it comes to sports, I just think of sports athletes as just like regular people, just like me. More of my admirations are towards like family or people who do things on massive scales of charity and like work like that. But one of the players I really like to enjoy watching and his gameplay is Thiago Silva. I think he is one of the best center backs in the world just because of his ability on the ball, his confidence on the back line, and just his leadership in general. It's something I want to emulate in the future. And he's a player I definitely look towards to learn from.
Well, that you just answered. That was what my next question was going to be. Is there anybody you like try to model your game after, or that you like? And have you always been a center half, or did you slowly find your way back there as you grew? Or
Yeah. So how it worked was when I was really young, I was a forward, and I used to score all the time. But we got to a certain age where my dad was kind of just like, you should try playing defense. You're gonna get pretty big, and you can use your good touch on the ball in defense and still be able to help the team. So that's how it started. I started playing center back at a young age, which was good for me and my development at the position. So I started playing center back when I was about 10.
And and so was your dad your coach when you were little?
Yeah, so we had my dad, my best friend's dad, and we had to be honest, we had a really stacked team. The team, once I left the team to go to the residency program, the guys on that team, we had 7 Division One commits, and 2 of us went professional.
Okay.
So the team ridiculously stacked, but we were all really close. I mean, all the guys are coming in for Christmas, and we're having a huge party soon. So
Nice.
we're still like brothers, and we're like a family. And, that was also another important part for me to come to Orlando City. I wanted to go to an organization where they treated the players like a family, and the players treat each other like a family. Not just like you're going to a job and it's just like, how you doing? I'm not going to see you outside. Like, I just know you here, and then outside of it, I don't really care. So that was a big piece of me coming to Orlando as well.
And so did you have other opportunities? Was it between like Orlando and somewhere else, or was it just like I'm in Orlando, my family's here, I'm staying in Orlando, I have this opportunity, I'm not thinking twice?
Yeah, so for me, I went on a couple trials in Europe, and I got feedback, and a couple clubs wanted me to go there, and for me, I think it was a great decision to start in Orlando because, like I said, the confidence piece. If I would have done poorly, say in Europe at a young age, and not having my family and friends support there, I probably would have crashed and burned, to be honest. Because personally, like I get down on myself a lot, but being able to start here in the past year and a half of experience for me, almost 2 years now, has grown me into someone where I honestly think I can go there now and like do well if I needed to go there. But if I would have started there when I was 16, 17, it would have been a completely different me that you're talking to.
Well, I'm happy to talk to you now. And so I don't know how much you can actually hear when you're in the stadium, but do you have a favorite chant?
Yeah, for me, to be honest, when I get on the field, I don't hear a word. I mean, sometimes I come off and people tell me like, "Oh, the fans are doing this and this, and they're chanting your name." I was like, I don't remember hearing anything. On the field, I just get so focused. It doesn't matter how many people are there. I won't hear a single thing. So,
All right, and I don't really have anything else. I really appreciate you coming on. I'm just happy to put this out for the fans, and hopefully, lots of people enjoyed it. I know I enjoyed it, and as I've said to a lot of my other guests, if you ever want to come back on the fan channel, you're more than welcome. Or if you ever have any questions for me, by all means, I'll be as receptive to you as you were to me, and I really appreciate your time. So thank you very much. And I guess one last question. If there was a war between pirates and ninjas, what would you be and why?
ninja, because I just love the aspect of being a ninja, being stealthy and just being so having so much finesse in their attack is definitely something I would like to be a part of. I don't really enjoy pirates that much.
So it doesn't have to do with the food?
No, it does not on this one.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate it. Thanks again. And as I end most of my videos, peace out.
Thank you very much.